What is going on, everybody? Welcome to RGTP. I am your host, Lewis, and with me, as always, is my amazing co-host, my guy, my brother from another mother, my sister from another mister, Sir Mamba. Mamba, how is we doing today?
I'm doing great, man.
Yes.
Weren't able to talk on Wednesday.
I wonder whose
Shit
fault that
happens.
was.
Not mine.
Yeah,
It
okay.
literally can't be
Okay.
my fault, bro.
All right.
Lightning, I can't control it, but
If
I'm
you
glad to
say
be
so.
here today.
Absolutely, because you know what it is. It is Friday, and what happens every Friday at this hour over here at RGTP is we talk wrestling for the week. But this time we're talking the weekend because we have three loaded up pay-per-views to watch. It's a lot of hours of wrestling this week. A lot more than
Every
average,
week.
obviously. You
Every
know,
week.
there is a lot going on. Super excited to dive into all of this amazing stuff. But of course, it is not a Friday of talking about wrestling without this guest that we're going to put on our screen. Now, it is the bearded, wholesome, and always wonderful, all the way from Baltimore, Matt Trigger.
Mm,
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for having me back. Lewis, I'm not gonna lie, I almost spit my water out because when you called him a sister from another mister, oh my lord, that was funny. I'm
hey, we're
glad to be
open
back
here.
and talking wrestling. Thank you for the kind introduction.
Of course, it's going to be amazing. Obviously, Matt is here, loves wrestling, and his Baltimore Ravens. Matt, let everybody know what that FTN pod is all about down there.
All right, so I have my normal show, Bearded Wholesome and All Things Baltimore. I have a couple more episodes I'm wrapping up. Just finished production on the Ryan Ripken episode. Also, I have a new podcast brought to you by StadiumRant.com. Flock the North, that's where all my Ravens coverage is going to be going forward. I'm having the eighth episode filming tonight live at 9:15. I'm going to have my co-host and three special guests. We're going to talk about the kickoff of the Ravens season, talk a little bit about the roster prediction or the roster construct and the practice squad. But enough about that. I'm ready to talk some wrestling because there's about 14 hours of wrestling
Yes.
between tonight and Sunday night.
Oh yes, oh yes. Make sure to check out Matt over there. We'll also be getting into some Ravon shenanigans starting next Thursday. Everyone is getting their
Mm.
stuff situated. It's going to be exciting. Can't wait
Hey,
for the football
first
season
pick in
upon us.
fantasy. Let's
I know.
go.
I'm so
First
mad.
pick.
I am picking at 6. I am not very happy. I hate picking in the dead center, but we'll see how it goes this year.
Yeah.
I host a draft every year for my family, and we just did the draft last weekend, and we did it after all the preseason games were pretty much over. And I had the second pick
Oof.
You got
in a
Christian
10.
McCaffrey, didn't you?
Oh, I took Derrick Henry.
Okay.
I took Derrick Henry because Jonathan Taylor was the first to go. I managed to scoop Travis Kelsey at the end of the second round,
Nice.
Nice.
and then I scooped Patrick Mahomes in the fourth,
Oh, what a stack. That's nice.
and then I managed to trade Aaron Rod. I drafted Aaron Rodgers late, and I traded him to somebody that needed a quarterback, and I managed to land DeAndre Swift. So,
Nice.
Boom, boom.
so I got myself a solid running back duo. I got Juju. I got Hunter Renfro late.
This man got the KC Chiefs, bro. Loaded like this weekend.
You know what? I'm a diehard Baltimore Ravens fan, but I know how to direct
Yeah.
fantasy at least. I've come close a couple times. I need to win this league. I need to win this league. I got 2 drafts tomorrow night, so I'm kind of like in a fantasy football headspace. So yeah, I
Nice.
know I know
Nice.
how y'all are feeling, man.
Yes, tomorrow is our friend league tomorrow, and then I'll be getting myself into more shenanigan leagues later on. But nonetheless, we shall start talking wrestling as my kid is calling my name over there. We shall start where it all starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time, right here. We start with Clash at the Castle over in Cardiff, Wales, with a whole lot going on. The card has been shaved up, and what better place to start than the match we did not get to see at SummerSlam that has been boiling over with an amazing promo Monday. We have Matt Riddle versus
Yup.
Seth Rollins.
That was
Mamba,
a fantastic promo on Monday night.
absolutely. Mamba, I will start with you. How do you feel the outcome of this match is going to end, especially with the way this feud has been built over the course of months now at this point?
Yeah, they've just been beating the shit out of each other, verbally and physically. With this match, I feel it can go either way. Both can take a loss and recover from that loss very well. Like Seth Rollins 0-3 against Cody, but we're still like, he's eventually gonna be a champion again one day, right? And Matt Riddle,
Seth freaking Rollins.
yeah, and Matt Riddle is so loved by the crowd because he's so stoner, bro, like down to earth at times, goofy. I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins just because of the losses to Cody, and then give him this. Just give him this. Riddle can get a win down the line again, maybe, but start it off with Seth freaking Rollins winning.
Understandable. Matt, how are we feeling about Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins? And what did the promo do for you watching that? Obviously, after the commercial break, we came back. I think it shook Twitter to its core. It left a lot of people in shock and awe.
Okay, so to me, the promo kind of broke the fourth wall in terms of suspension of disbelief, which is cool because a lot of Matt Riddle's shit has been aired out by his ex-wife, and a lot of it has been, borderline disgusting,
Supremely public.
And the thing is, it's not garnering as much attention because a lot of people are kind of calling her on her bullshit on Twitter. So I don't think it's going to really affect him. If anything, I think he might catch the loss at Clash at the Castle. I think this is going to be probably one of the better matches. I think because of their actual dislike for each other in real life, this might be a little bit more stiff and hard-hitting, especially with the way, if you've seen a lot of the matches going, a lot of the wrestlers have been taking more liberty in the ring, and it hasn't been as choreographed and ballroom dance like. They have kind of gotten back to a little bit of the basis of what made NXT popular. You can definitely tell the imprint of Triple H's reign so far. I'd like to see this feud wrap up at Survivor Series with those two leading a 5 versus 5 as the team captains.
And we get Hey Randy.
We can get maybe throw Randy back in there. You can get some guys that you want to elevate involved into that feud without necessarily having to rely on your big time top names. Kind of get some mid card guys in there, guys that are pro Seth, pro Matt,
Street Profits. They could be on Matt Riddle's team.
You could get Alpha Academy in there. You could get some guys that you might want to bring up. You could probably throw Ciampa in there.
Miz, yeah.
Gargano in theory could take a side.
Yep.
Just to kind of keep everything interwebbed, but build your next set of mid card, because from all accounts, there's going to be like a huge reset after the Mania coming up this March in Hollywood. So
good.
I'm excited for this match. If they do this right and let these dudes just beat the shit out of each other, this is going to be good.
Agreed.
I agree. On that WrestleMania note, I'm very excited. Hopefully all things go exactly as planned, and we will have that draft post-Mania to hopefully shake some things up. There's rumored a lot of NXT call-ups are going to be on their way soon, so that's always going to be interesting. And Triple H is already working on a couple returns. Quick note, Braun Strowman is scheduled to be back in Kansas City on Monday Night Raw, apparently, as announced a couple days ago by all the dirt sheets. So we'll see where this goes. But I agree. I am on the side of Seth Rollins. He got to come out on top on a feud at some point. And
right.
I think this is totally fine. His character on TV is amazing and has been amazing for quite a while now. He continues to reinvent himself and doing all these wacky, crazy things. And I just love the man, truthfully. A little bit of bias. I am a bit more favorable to Seth freaking Rollins, and I would like to see him win this match very much.
Before we move on, I just want to see how Matt Riddle handles himself. he's been in knee deep into this feud with Rollins, but we're gonna see what he's made of in terms of closing out a feud by himself without Randy Orton.
Yep.
So that's something I'm going to pay attention to as we get closer to the holidays.
Yes, because after Seth, it's going to be a big question mark on what's next for him if Randy isn't medically cleared to come back. Is he going to stay in sort of this floating around main event?
RK Bro was good, man. That let's just you got teams in NXT that can come up. You got teams that you can kind of reform on the main roster. We know RK Bro can always have like a nostalgia run in a year or two, but let Randy come back and get into the title picture first and foremost.
Well, that's what I mean with Berto. It's where he's going to lie. Even when we saw his matches with Roman, he was sort of up in that upper echelon main eventers. Now he's with Rollins, so it is going to be interesting to see where he stacks up, especially towards the end of the year as we get into Survivor Series and then the draft and so on and so forth. If he is a major player and he moves over from our SmackDown, however, maybe hopefully we get some title splits. We shall see. But moving onward, we have the Judgment Day versus Edge and Rey Mysterio, with Dominic on the sidelines. Very interesting play, and I will go first on this one. I'm going to give this one to the Judgment Day, and I believe the Dominic Mysterio heel turn to join Judgment Day that's been teased for so long. I think it's about due time. If not, it's about time he sticks in developmental or something, because it's not running hot for Dominic and Rey. They got squashed a few months ago by Veer. They're doing all this stuff with Judgment Day on and off. I'm not overly a big fan of everything that's going on. Maybe Dom particularly doesn't turn necessarily on his father. We saw his moments with Edge over the last few weeks. There's more tension there than obviously with Rey, but I believe this will be the time for another sort of pay-per-view moment where they get a new member even, and the member would have been right in front of us the entire time.
The entire time. That could make sense as to why he won't attack Rhea Ripley either. When like she'd be being, got the kendo stick. I know it's male, female.
Somebody better super kick her ass at some point.
He could pick her up, throw her over the top rope. Just get her out of the ring. Wail on your father.
I have my theory on where this is going. Now, first of all, when it comes to Rey and Dominic, I think Rey is kind of going with this type of booking that they've had, just so I think Rey was self-aware that Dominic didn't have his typical introduction into pro wrestling.
Charisma, style, everything, all of the above.
Not all that, but Dominic totally circumvented NXT.
Yes.
So he's still got to pay his dues. And I think this is a form of Dominic paying dues by Rey being booked like a older veteran should be in terms of elevating talent around him. Now, I think they're hitting a little bit of the nostalgia with having Rey and Edge team up.
So good.
I think Judgment Day does get the win. This might set up a turn to where we get Rey versus Dominic in Hollywood next year. I think they might play this out a little bit longer and maybe have the turn come at Survivor Series if they're on a team to kind of like make that the thing that goes into the fall and into the wintertime. Because if you do it that way, and this is just me fantasy booking, honestly, but have Dominic turn on Rey, maybe do the Judgment Day 5 versus 5, or if they're involved in a 5 versus 5, have him turn and help them. Let him kind of be in Judgment Day throughout the wintertime, and then let him really get that one-on-one against his dad, where he's part of Judgment Day, but he gets that rub by beating his dad at WrestleMania next year. So this is where I'm at with that. It's not anything, crazy, because it could be done, but I don't think they're going to do the turn this weekend. I think they're going to still tease it a little bit more. I think Triple H is going to kind of play with it a little bit more before he decides to, say all systems go on a Rey and Dominic feud, because the thing is, you're going to have to give that TV time.
Right.
But at the same time, you got to make it mean something. So that's just my opinion. I think Judgment Day gets this win. They need this win. They need it more than Rey and Edge need it.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
That's just me personally.
Mamba, how are we feeling on a winner in this? Are we 3 for 3 on the Judgment Day?
I don't know. We might have lost Mamba, brother.
Oh, we might have. He's frozen over there.
Yeah.
I'm going to take his word that he's probably leaning towards Judgment Day with us, as his beautiful face is just frozen on our screen. He just hold up a second. He might be here.
Internet issues, bro.
You're good.
It's raining.
There's 2 of you down there, and I'm going to just leave it here because I don't want to kick out the other screen of yours.
I mean, I can
don't
leave
want
again if you want.
No, you're good. You're good because you're in here. It's just it looks funny on here. But Judgment Day also.
Yes, I am on board with the Dominic turn, but there's still a part of me that really hopes he joins Legato. I still want to see it. It was teased in NXT.
That would be wild.
Legato's coming up soon, I still want to see him join Legato.
Yep, that's definitely going to be an interesting one. As we move on, the last of our non-title matches, our women's Raw champion Bianca Belair teams with Asuka and Alexa Bliss versus, still waiting for this name to be officially linked to them, Damage Control, the team of Bayley, returning Dakota Kai, and the call-up of Io Sky as the women sort of try to figure out what they're going to do. I think the booking on the women's tag title finish was rather odd. But me and Mamba have talked about this before. If it is all said and done and is reportedly true that Naomi and Sasha are coming back, you would essentially probably want to put those belts on them. We'll see how that all goes.
I don't think you should.
Raquel has success against Io and Dakota Kai as well.
Raquel is an absolute beast, and I absolutely love that woman. But on to, I believe,
that's Braun's girl.
Hey. That's still a weird looking couple. I believe Damage Control gets the win on this one. I think it will obviously make up for the Monday. The Monday thing, even though there is some fishy shit going on with that, is Aaliyah pinned the illegal competitor. So we'll see how all that ends up transpiring and stuff. But I think Damage Control gets a win here, much needed, if this faction is supposed to be any sort of legitimate going forward and you're trying to build this women's division up in any sort of way. It's going to be due up for them to get a win. Looking at maybe Asuka or Bliss to get a pin here, or you go all out and you pin Bianca if you want to really drive some crazy shit going on.
I don't think that's going to happen, though. Honestly, the only reason why I think the wonky finish happened, number one, it builds storyline. Number two, I don't think they wanted the Raw Women's Champion and the Tag Team Champions all in one match, because then you would have to have like the winner take all aspect, and nobody wants that. I don't think that they're going to take the Raw Women's title off of Bianca so quick, and I don't think that they wanted to be put in a situation where Io and Dakota win the titles on Raw, and then there's a dynamic where if one of them eats the pinfall, that could be a championship changing kind of thing. So this kind of puts the women's champions out of that mix, and you let Damage Control really just feud with the girls they've been feuding with for what seems to be since SummerSlam. So I get it in the storytelling. I think Damage Control does need the win, but anybody but Bianca needs to eat that pin. If I'm a smart man, it's Alexa Bliss. Because I really don't, even now, I still don't. Asuka doesn't take many pinfalls, so Alexa will. She's like kind of the oddest one out of this whole thing because she's been horribly booked for months now, and I think they just got.
Yeah, even Alexa Bliss has mentioned like she feels as though her character is boring. She doesn't do anything. Like, so even she understands she's not at the best spot.
They need to give her like the thing is she was off TV for so long. You could have given her a complete reset, and they didn't do it. So to me, that's just kind of like you missed an opportunity right there to really let her come back as either her original gimmick or let her truly build off of the Fiend gimmick. But here we are. But I think this is going to be a Damage Control win. They need it to make the group serious.
Okay. I'm going with Bianca and them. And when I was watching the women's match and they had Raquel and Aaliyah, it made more sense because if you do have Damage Control, if that is her name, if you have the women's tag titles on them and they immediately go to the next pay-per-view and they lose, it's like, oh, well, it looks like it's about to be the same thing, right? So just keep the titles away from them. Continue the story because it's everything that happened. I feel like Dakota Kai will be pinned. And even though, yes, they are like new, people already have respect for the group. And the match will probably be.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I feel what you're saying. Like
yes.
Thinking about it, like if any of those three are going to take the pin, it would probably be Dakota.
Yes. And I don't think a loss in a match that you would believe to be really good because all 6 of these women can go in the ring, and I think Damage Control loses simply because of Bianca being the women's champion. And
that's fair.
You know, I don't really want to see a champion lose. Obviously, if they do lose, I could see Damage Control win because it's Bayley and she pins Alexa, you know. But if the women's champions group lose, it probably will be Alexa to eat that pinfall or submission.
So tough, so tough. Keeping it moving. We're at the cream of the crop. Our 3 title matches. What better place to start than probably the hardest hitting match all weekend long? Our Intercontinental Champion, the Ring General Gunther, versus Sheamus in an absolute hard hitting, stiff. I just love everything about what happened last Friday with their promo from start to finish. And obviously, Gunther's going to get this win. I know a lot of people would love Sheamus here to wrap up the Grand Slam, and there's some story into him winning the IC Championship and stuff like that. But Gunther has just been on a tear for years since NXT UK.
And even before that.
Didn't get the big win down in NXT 2.0, but it was obvious where they were going with him. They were planning on pushing him into the main roster, and lo and behold, he is here and immediately catapulted into mid-card championship contention. But for me, with the way Gunther looks and his build, and I love Ludwig and I love everything about it, he really brings back the IC championship, at least for me, to a state where I can respect it once again. Although I did love when Ricochet had it. There was a little bit of a weird transition between Shinsuke and Sammy, and there was a little bit of a flip-floppy bouncing around, and then Ricochet ended up getting it. But Gunther has, for me, brought some of that siege back up. Had a lot of hard-hitting encounters. His match with Shinsuke was outstanding. But for me, this win goes to the Ring General in probably the hardest hitting match of the weekend. Although AEW does have one other match that could potentially give this a stiff run for its money. Mamba, how are we feeling about this match? And are we getting a title change here by any means?
No, we are not. Gunther, like you said, is going to be hard hitting. You might want to check your chest after. It might be, you were going to feel this match just sitting there watching. It would be nice to see Sheamus, like you said, wrap off the Grand Slam, but that's not what he's doing. If the title maybe wasn't on Gunther, if this was heel Sheamus against face Ricochet.
Oh, yeah.
Then, I'd be like, give it to Sheamus, see him do one more run, but being Gunther, nah. I don't know who's going to take that title off him, dude.
It's going to be definitely an interesting one.
I think Gunther gets the win. Their promo was great last week. I think everybody kind of wants Sheamus to be the Grand Slam champion, but a lot of people forget that he's like 45. Like he's closer to the end than he is to the beginning. And Gunther, honestly, he's a Vince guy. Even though he was booked well under Triple H's NXT Black and Gold and transitioned into the 2.0, he's kind of what you want in terms of a long-term heel. He's very... he's got that stoic presence. He's got the look for a heel. He can work. He's stiff, but he's safe. Like he doesn't hurt his opponents, and it's obvious that he knows what he's doing. There's a reason for the Ring General and all that. I think that he's probably the best thing to come out of NXT UK. I think he's better than Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne or Butch. God, I hate that shit. I I think that they're priming Gunther to eventually be in that main event scene. I think that he's going to get rid of Kaiser at some point. Um, I can see Kaiser and uh, whatever I can't remember his name in NXT now because I don't watch it
Fabian?
religiously. Yeah, well, Fabian, I think I can see them.
Giovanni.
Yeah, Giovanni.
I can see Ludwig going back to NXT to kind of reform that tag team. If not, they bring up Fabian and go from there. But I can see Gunther, clashing horns with McIntyre and Rollins and
Yeah, you see that picture?
Cross. Yeah, they're priming him to be the real deal. I think he's a little bit away, but he's going to be consistently, especially if Roman eventually moves on. You're going to have a shift. You're going to have to shift everybody around if he goes to Hollywood. So he's going to be in that pecking order somewhere. They're just giving him.
Could you see Gunther potentially main event for a championship at SummerSlam next year?
I think that might be a little bit too soon. I think you need to give him a really good Intercontinental Championship run. The way that they're booking Roman as the heavyweight champion, but I know that that's more my generation, but back in the day, the Intercontinental Champions had a long run, and
Yes.
that was pretty much the guy you were priming to be the next guy. So if they treat that like this, now I hate the design of the Intercontinental Championship. I think Gunther would look good with the white or the black original Intercontinental Championship strap. That
I vote for the white one. Loved the white one.
I like this new one.
Now, if he was still wearing his black and white ring gear, that would look good. But even if they went back to the old traditional Intercontinental title style, now they are rumored to be redesigning a lot of the belts again. And at this point, it's just a money-making thing to where they can advertise new belts and make it for toys for kids and for the nerds that wear the belts to the events and shit. Please don't say that that's you guys, but
I'll leave mine at my house.
Thank you, Mamba. But yeah, man, I think that Gunther's gonna get this. I didn't mean to make that long-winded. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's
Gunther's
totally
great, bro.
It
He
is.
will be a world champion one day.
It is absolutely outstanding. And the only women's championship match on the card are WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan faces her toughest challenge yet. Shayna Baszler is coming to rip off her arm in Cardiff. And I have a lot of mixed reactions. I've been going back and forth with this, but I'm going to do it. I think Shayna wins here. I'm sorry, Liv. It has been a very underwhelming 2 months. I'm not gonna lie. It hasn't had a lot. The win against Ronda was obviously convoluted. There was a tap pin scenario. I don't know what they're gonna do with her. I don't know if they put the belt on her for just a pure pop factor for this niche audience that absolutely loves her, because there is a following that absolutely loves Liv Morgan. But putting her up in there against Shayna and having Shayna look as good as she has over the last few months, I'm legitimately convinced Shayna is going to try to murder her.
I believe it. Mamba, I'm sorry. I know.
You're good.
I'm taking the last couple. I'm sorry.
No, you were perfectly fine.
I still gotta apologize, man. Hosting two shows, I kind of blur the line of guest and running this shit sometimes. But this is a hard one. Like Lewis said, I agree with you, Lewis. A very certain niche of part of the audience loves Liv Morgan, and the thing is, that's a key demographic. Young girls love Liv Morgan. They love the underdog story. You see more girls now starting to dress like her in the audience, doing the makeup, the hair. I do agree that it's been an underwhelming run, but she also took the run in the middle of arguably the toughest transition backstage that any company's probably ever seen. with Vince leaving and Hunter taking over, because you don't know where she stands. You don't know if she's one of Vince's girls or one of Hunter's girls. We know who Hunter's girls are. It's the 4 horsewomen and a couple other select few.
Shayna, Io, Asuka.
The thing is, Shayna doesn't really do it for me in terms of the promos. She's been booked like a badass, but the thing is, in between her initial badass run and this badass run, you had about 2 years of bullshit where she's eating pins, she's tapping out, she's in these goofy angles, and it's like, are we gonna get Shayna
Yes.
to where we get a Shayna Ronda match? Or is this going to be...
That might happen at Mania with or without a belt, potentially.
But the thing is, you can't promote that unless there's a title involved, because honestly, Ronda is pretty much their prize fighter on the female side. She only fights in title matches. She's either the champion or the challenger seemingly every match that she's wrestled, with the exception of her first few.
She's turned into Brock Lesnar.
And
Don't you ever say that again.
A not good Brock Lesnar. A not good, yeah. But that's just me personally, man. I think Liv gets out of there, and apparently Ronda's not. She got pulled from the show today. She didn't travel to Cardiff with everybody else unless they got her there on a separate flight and they kind of snuck her around. But they've been alluding to Ronda interfering in this match. And you do have the long-term storytelling that you can circle back and say Ronda made Liv tap. But Liv's underdog story was a lot better than her champion story. I think that
100%.
we're now seeing that Liv is kind of like Dean Ambrose or John Moxley was in the WWE. He was fantastic on the chase, and then when he attained the title, it plateaued and then went downhill.
We've seen that over the years. Big E with the championship, Hangman Page over in AEW, sort of the whole build
Hangman
to
was
get there.
booking.
Amazing. Yeah,
Hangman's
It breaks
booking.
my
soul.
I'm not gonna Hangman. I'm telling you right now, out of all the dudes in AEW, if Hangman's in WWE, he's a champion next year. He's that
badass.
good.
I absolutely love Hangman.
He is that
So-
fucking good. The cowboy shit, like I think the Dark Order is goofy as fuck anyway. They've been goofy for the entirety of this whole situation.
Hey, we're not talking about AEW right now, okay?
But I'm
Okay?
saying, like,
Shayna
Hangman's literally the only one in AEW outside of MJF that I want to see in a WWE ring.
Okay.
Respectable. Fair enough. Mamba, Shayna, Liv.
Liv Morgan. She's gonna win by cheating.
You changed your mind
I did.
now?
Yeah.
Literally a few months, like last month, you were
No,
like,
as soon as Shayna won, as soon as she was the number one contender, I was like, she's going to destroy her, and I'm not changing that mindset. I do think Shayna is going to destroy this woman, probably try to break her arm and stuff, but I think Liv, like the crowd turning on her and the whole her tapping out and then her like not like, did she acknowledge it? Did she not? Like, I don't. She just
really
moved
can't
on.
remember.
So
I just remember everybody chanting at her, "You tapped out for 2 weeks."
Yeah, Shayna is going to batter. And then I see Liv maybe don't do it like, oh, I'm a heel now because of all you people, even though it would be because the crowd did turn on her. But do it as she finally got there and she didn't want to lose the title, so she cheated to win. Like, that was her story. All she ever wanted to do was be the women's champion. She finally got there, and everyone's like, yeah, well, we don't like you now because some bad booking. It was bad. Why'd she tap, But this gives a road to her maybe seeing what she is as a heel. We have Bianca as a face. Obviously, we don't need a face and a heel. We can have two faces, but they like the dynamic of a face champion and a heel champion. US, Bobby, he's a face. Gunther, I see he's a heel, I think Liv wins by cheating.
Cheating. Interesting. Can't wait to see what that match has in store for us. And our Clash at the Castle main event is the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre in the match that we have basically been predicting since the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view has been announced. It's sort of been obvious. My child is absolutely throwing a tantrum in the background over there. Hopefully her mother can get her under control. And again, it's something that has been very back and forth. There has been a lot of rumors that this match is not going to end clean, but there is supposedly no Heyman, no Usos involved. There was reports that maybe a Solo Sikoa interaction was coming, considering he shall be on SmackDown, apparently ASAP. Sammy is in Cardiff as well, and obviously every time a pay-per-view rolls around, Bray Wyatt's name gets tossed around. So, of course, we shall see where it goes. And you got to love the internet wrestling community, of course. But for me, the best thing here is if this is where Roman decides to basically take a bit of a leave. What a wonderful time to do it, considering they have not done the belt split just yet. I still say that if this was the time, I've told Mamba this would be the time to have a belt split. Make him the WWE champion at
Raw.
Cardiff, Wales. Move him over to Raw. Roman's has been having the time of his life as Universal Champion on SmackDown, and you continue the Universal Championship storyline over there, considering he's going to have his 2-year. It definitely is, but considering they're not doing any belt splits at the moment, it does look like, for me at least, the way this has been building, I'm going to lean towards Drew McIntyre winning this match and walking out champion.
And that's what they want. They have built Drew, like, he comes out every week on both SmackDown and Raw, talks to the crowd, heartfelt, and it's going to be so sad when, he's not in his homeland, but he's in his home island, when he gets screwed over by Sami Zayn bringing Solo up. I am fully on board with that, dude. I'm fully on board with Sami being the one to bring in Solo. Getting a better grace with Roman, like, yo, look, Paul and the Usos aren't here, but look what I did for you. I got another family member of yours to come over. Sorry, Drew.
I have a theory. It's a long-term theory. I'm not going to make it long-winded. This is something that I've been kind of toying with, seeing the reports about The Rock, it really being in his court, whether or not he comes back. So hear me out on this. I think Drew loses because it's so obvious for him to win that it's not going to happen. Personally, I think Roman carries the titles to Mania next year. I think he kind of notches like that 1,000-day or like that 900-day area. And then I believe The Rock beats him for both championships at Mania and comes out the next night on Raw, retires, and the belts get split. And then you have...
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry.
That it sounds crazy because I was thinking about it. I was like, could they really do that? But the thing is, I think The Rock wants this one match. And I think if he retires WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion, you get his name on the record books again as the double champ. And that way he comes out and says you give him the first half an hour, 45 minutes of the show. You get the title belts back. And this might be the opportunity where you can bring the Red Universal Championship back and put it on Raw and put the WWE Championship back on SmackDown. And then that way, that's a good split to it. But I think Roman leaves Wales as still the champion. I believe Heyman's coming back. Something tells me Heyman's going to be there. I don't know about the Sikoa thing.
I'm all for that.
If anything, Sikoa comes up with Sami, and then next Friday, Sikoa beats his ass, and Sami's out of Bloodline. And then you have Sikoa feuding with Zayn. First feud on the main roster.
Absolutely. We do have a comment. Big Nips on Ice. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi, buddy. I'm sorry we did not go live on Wednesday. You've been a big supporter here on YouTube for us. I appreciate you. Be here next Wednesday. We will talk NFL over-unders and your Utah Jazz's Donovan Mitchell trade in particular. Thank you for stopping by and saying hello, and I would love to have you join us in the comment section on Wednesday. As we proceed with the wrestling talk, our next pay-per-view in line is NXT's Worlds Collide. There is no more NXT UK. It is now over and will be rebranded next year as NXT Europe, as Triple H announces he's going to just drop NXT this, that, and the third all over the world
And the
as he
fourth,
continues
and the fifth,
to
and the sixth.
He's going to continue to I don't know how we're gonna watch it. It's gonna be on like maybe 3 o'clock in the morning over here. I don't know how the hell any of this stuff's gonna work, but we shall see. This pay-per-view is going to be spectacular. I mentioned pre-show, probably one of the matches I am most excited for. All championship matches gonna be rather interesting, but I'm gonna start with one that's probably a little bit doesn't have as much build and feel for me. NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Chance and Carter will take on Roz, Nikki ASH, and Doudrop, who appeared on Tuesday's NXT to challenge for the belts. Rather interesting. This is
they're from there.
It's Chance and Carter, absolutely. They're gonna get the hometown. We've seen it. Gunther, Drew, Sheamus. We got all this
on Clash, so.
They have been
Exactly.
booking that rather well the last couple of weeks. I'll give them that.
What?
NXT's been watchable the last couple of weeks.
It's been spectacular.
I've watched it start to finish the last, I think, 3 episodes. So I'm a little curious where they're going to go. Part of me wants to believe in order to get Nikki and Doudrop out of the way on the main roster, they give them an NXT tag title run.
Give Doudrop her name back? Do you make Nikki not a superhero anymore?
The thing is, you would need to let them be champions, and then you would need to let them come to the ring and kind of give that real life promo the way that Seth and Matt got it. You're going to need to give them something like that to where Nikki is back to being a psycho and Doudrop's back to being Piper Niven, so
yes. I
don't know if they're going to go in that direction, considering Doudrop's been her name for almost 18 months now. There's a small part of me that believes it's going to be them.
I could see them just because it does seem like they might be lost in the shuffle on the main roster. Bring it down, give it a legitimate, not legitimate, but a more seasoned team for the tag teams in NXT to go against. If Doudrop changes her name, I do think she will use it as like a finisher name. Like the tag team finisher is called the Doudrop, I could see them do something like that.
I probably wouldn't hate that.
I'm going to go with Katana. That's her name, right?
Yep.
Chance and
Caden Carter, yes, sir.
Yep. I'm bad with names. I'm sorry.
That's easier to say than Casey Catanzaro or whatever her name is.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. I think that's probably the easiest match, and one that didn't get a ton of build. Obviously, all these other matches sort of are getting, contract signings. I'll get to the one that I know. We also got one that sort of just got dropped. But, we will get to that. On to the next one. We have the unification of the tag team divisions for the.
Yes.
Okay, let me not speak too soon about saying for the best tag teams in NXT, because there's definitely a big question mark on who's holding those NXT UK championships right now. But besides the point, we have Gallus coming in. Very interested to see which of the trio will wrestle. I believe it might be the Coffee Boys. We shall see. The Creed brothers, Pretty Deadly, and Jensen and Briggs will be colliding. I believe it is an elimination.
It is
fatal 4-way. So
That's exactly what I said.
that match should get a good amount of time. I'm going with the Creeds on this one. I think they have been outstanding with everything they're doing. But then again, I can absolutely. Because I've been heartbroken, because I also see Gallus potentially winning this after some Roderick Strong shenanigan, considering the implosion of Diamond Mine has been getting hinted at for the last few months. I'm gonna stick with the Creeds on this one though, just because I'm a little bit biased on them boys. I've told Mamba before I've become more of a Julius fan over Brutus, although Brutus does have the Brutus Cannonball, which
Yo,
I think is
his
absolutely spectacular. But Julius is truly becoming more and more of definitive his own man, so to speak. But that's just me and my reaction. Mamba, how we feeling? Who's walking out unified NXT Tag Team Champions?
pretty deadly.
Pretty deadly and
Pretty deadly.
spilt
I
milk.
think so. Yes. When
They suck,
they
man.
showed the unification of the world titles, and then they started. I texted you immediately like tag teams the next, and then the women showed up, and then they finally did the 4 tag. It'll come full circle. Pretty deadly attacked the Creeds. It was like a who done it, and then it turned.
Yep.
Oh, they done it. I think the Creeds they're gonna be too concerned of their implosion for them to be holding the titles. And when there's, well, what is the word I'm looking for? Don't know. But when there's chaos, it's kind of hard to focus on just one thing, and that would be defending the tag titles. So I do agree. I think Roderick Strong, Gallus, that will play into the Creeds being eliminated. And I do believe it will be pretty deadly that pins them as the last team.
Matt, how are we feeling? Which team? We have 2 different choices already here.
Gallus.
Oh, I like it. Wolfgang, cool.
These dudes are hard hitting. I'm so happy that when they folded UK, these guys decided that they were going to go stateside because they released everybody that didn't want to come over to the United States, and they've released a lot of good wrestlers.
Trent.
I have a theory about how this is going to go.
Drop it.
I think that the last 2 teams are going to be Gallus and the Creed brothers. I think Briggs and Jensen are a good team. I just think that they're not ready to be on TV every week as the tag team champions. That's why they gave them like a test run over in the UK. I like them though. I think they're just kind of raw, and I think Fallon Henley needs to work on the mic a little bit more because they're just 2 big country boys, and they're strong and they're quick and they got the look, and that gimmick could work, but I think it needs to be polished a little bit more before they're like a premier tag team. I think Pretty Deadly sucks, and me personally, I believe Roddy causes the loss at Worlds Collide. And if it doesn't happen at Worlds Collide, Bobby Fish comes back. Not as a trainer, but Roddy and Bobby get back as a tag team and they feud with the Creed brothers. All while opening.
Roddy can't get Kemp on his side anymore.
I believe that this is the start of Roddy. This is what's going to make them happy. If they can convince Bobby to come back and be at Worlds Collide as his tag team partner, he misses his buddies, and that's one of them back. So I think that if they can toss that in Roddy's direction, that keeps him happy. It keeps him in NXT longer, and he's got his buddy Bobby back. And I think they would have no problem putting the Creed brothers over in even more of a spectacular fashion. And I think Ivy Nile is going to be great as the leader. So I have that girl is like,
I agree with you.
She's solid.
She should be leader. She should be the leader.
And I like
Her
Gable
mic skills
Stevenson's
have
brother.
gone up a lot.
Yep.
I like Gable Stevenson's little
Kemp
brother.
is nice. Absolutely.
He's good. I think that once he gets some seasoning, he's gonna be a player in NXT by next year. Whether it's with that in mind or not, I think he's gonna be solid. They struck gold with that.
Agreed. It's going to be interesting when and if Gabe Stevenson ever pops up onto our screens. But Kemp did have a lot of seasoning over in NXT UK, where he got to spend a lot of time over there and sort of get acclimated to the WWE style of things, although it is a little bit different out there in the UK. It is really going to be an interesting one. I love Ivy Nile. I think her promo skills have absolutely transcended a lot from the beginning. I'd like to see where the Tatum Paxley falls in line, considering she was sort of been there in the beginning and then she sort of pushed away and now she's sort of come back. Interested to see where that goes if they decide to have a women's tag team for the group. Gonna absolutely be interesting. I love it though. 3 different options, but no one on the current NXT UK champion side. Sorry, fellas. But of course, as we move along, we have something Mamba we actually talked about. Will the Heritage Cup be coming to NXT 2.0 in the meantime? And maybe, just maybe, as we get Nathan Frazier versus the high flying, formerly known as A-Kid.
We don't know that.
Yes, we do.
No, we
Stop
don't.
that shit.
He's never been in the UK before.
I know
Axiom.
that
Stupid
was
ass shit.
absolutely
God,
hilarious.
that's so stupid. Oh my
The
god,
comic
come
book
on.
hero Axiom is going to be gracing
I'm all
our
for
screen.
it.
That's
in
gonna be the best match of the
probably-
night, though.
It has a chance of being the best match of the night. Absolutely. It's definitely going to be probably the most exciting and high-flying match of the entire weekend in terms of WWE. I think AEW's ladder match is going to be a lot of flippy shit. So I don't know if it'll necessarily be the most.
All flippy
Hey,
shit.
hey, you can't say anything about AEW with this man.
We'll see. But we do have a Heritage Cup match, which should be absolutely very interesting. It is something that me and Mama have talked about, whether it was coming, what they were going to do with it. Are they going to leave it alone? Are they going to bring it in? It is sort of cool to see that they are going to be bringing it over. And what 2 better guys than Frazier and Axiom to get it done, sort of introducing it to a lot of fresh faces that don't tune in to NXT UK. And I'm going to go with Nathan Frazier on this one. I absolutely think he can get a dub on this one, although he didn't get the rebranding. I know. They sort of
You're too optimistic, bro.
their state. I know they made a
be
point
Axiom.
of doing it, but I absolutely love Nathan Frazier. The dude is an athletic beast, high flying, super quick. I think he's only going to get better in the ring. I think he's only 24, 25 years old, super young. And
That's why he's gonna lose.
Has a very bright future in the WWE as long as they can keep him around and see what he does. Trained by Seth Rollins. The kid
he's a Rollins trainee. Oh, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
He's absolutely outstanding.
This man Lewis is hyping this man up.
I'm
trying to get us to change our mind.
Is he a Black and Brave wrestling trainee?
Yes, he was.
Oh, he's not going anywhere. That's one of Seth's babies right there.
Yep. No, he's literally trained by Seth and whoever. I forget who else is down there. I know there's another guy that's down there.
For the sake of moving on, Axiom is going to win. I just think they would have been a lot funnier if they would have had him change his name and not wear a mask, and everybody's like, "You're A-Kid," and he just completely plays the shit off like a psychopath. Like, make him like a split personality. Like I would tune in for that shit. But that's just me.
Axiom, yeah. I like the idea of the American heritage, the Heritage Cup. My bad, trying to Americanize it already.
In the meantime,
I like the
it might be
idea of
called
it
that.
being like a trophy coming over because with like
Well, that's what
AEW,
it is,
they're
right?
adding titles and
Mhm.
yes, adding a trophy. It is like adding a title, but it's different. So people look at it and maybe a little more open arm, be like, we can see what this is, and it is a different style of matches. But if it was like a new belt for this style of match, people aren't going to accept that.
I would be cool if they ran it like every other pay-per-view as like the thing. The Heritage Cup is like, okay, they're doing it now. Skip it at the Halloween Havoc takeover event in October. Do it again when you hit like the new year. And have like, instead of like just doing a tournament for it, do like a gauntlet and have like all your top high flyers put on a hell of a show for like 1 hour of one of those random NXTs. And then whoever won it last just defends it. Just kind of like every other special kind of thing. Make it mean something if you're going to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I can agree. I think it's going to be very exciting. Excited for this match as we continue on. Our North American champion, Carmelo Hayes, will take on SmackDown's very own Ricochet in a match that was just made in the main event of NXT 2.0, which for me, as soon as I seen it, I messaged Mamba. This has the potential to be probably the best match of the weekend.
We got a couple of these matches, huh, guys? We ain't
there
even
is
got
a lot.
AEW
There
yet.
is definitely a few, but I've been biased towards Ricochet
Don't get me started.
for a very, very long time. Once
Mamba,
I
you know what
seen
the
him
hell
in
you're
Prince
doing.
Puma, he was very, very excited for all things Ricochet. And I love Carmelo Hayes. They're two guys that I'm a fan of, so I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to produce in the ring. I will say Carmelo Hayes walks out of this the winner, of course. I don't think they're gonna just keep rolling back all these, main roster guys and pumping them back down into NXT. But it should absolutely be an outstanding match. Maybe we got some Trick Williams shenaniganry, but I'm all for this match. It is going to be a banger.
It's another name added to
Please.
Carmelo's wins.
Oh, banger. Jesus. Anyway, I'm gonna disagree with you. I think Ricochet needs this NXT reset.
Okay.
He just had a solid run as the Intercontinental Champion. He was kind of a victim of 50-50 booking.
Kind of.
He was the victim. I really think the Intercontinental Championship title picture on SmackDown just kind of needs to be reconfigured a little bit. Ricochet is one of those guys that never really got his due in his initial NXT run because he got paired up with Aleister Black at the end of it and then towards his main roster debut. I love that tag team. It was cool seeing them live in person on one of their first SmackDowns in Baltimore. But if you want to look for somebody that can kind of hang around the NXT main event scene, possibly as a transition champion to get it off of Braun, and you want to get Braun off, if you want to get it off of Braun on Monday, or if you want to get Braun up Monday or Friday, if they don't have Braun lose to Tyler Bate, I think Ricochet could be that person, and then you could have Tyler Bate and Ricochet kind of put on some really good matches, and then that way you can kind of use Tyler Bate as your next big thing in NXT. He's priming for it, but I know they want Breaker up on the main roster. You got to get the belt off of him somehow, and I think that Ricochet hanging around to do that. If he doesn't beat Carmelo Hayes, because I think Hayes is due for the main roster. He's pretty much outside of an NXT title run. He's done everything he's needed to do. He can talk on the mic. Trick can talk on the mic. And you could put Carmelo in the Intercontinental title scene. You could have him go up to SmackDown and have some good matches with the guys up there. He's got familiarity with a lot of them. Me personally, I think Ricochet, sticks around. I don't think he gets the win, but I think he stays.
Oh, interesting. I like that one. Mamba, we Hayes or Ricochet on this one?
Oh, yeah, no, I made it short and sweet, sir. This is a name added to Carmelo's wins, bro, just to bolster it, and whoever takes that title off of Carmelo, it's like, yo, that he beat a guy who's beaten a good amount of people and some established people.
Gacy needs to do it. That's just my opinion.
Oh boy, I don't know what's going on with Gacy and Grimes and all that stuff. That's gonna be rather interesting.
Purgatory.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. As we continue going on our last two matches, the women's unification title match, the living legend Satomura has come over from NXT UK to defend her championship against Miss Mandy Rose, our current NXT 2.0 champion, and sort of a toss in Blair Davenport, who seems to be the one that's going to be eating the pin at the end of this. I'm going with Meiko Satomura here, the living legend. I think it'd be outstanding for her to just be on NXT 2.0. I've pitched basically since Toxic Attraction has been on SmackDown. It is about time they give this faction a call up. Doesn't look like they're gonna unless you plan on making them 3-time tag team champions again. It's about due time that they exactly. Mandy's been champ for so long. It is about time if the call-ups are gonna be coming, red hot shortly. It's about time Toxic Attraction gets set up to move way on up into the main roster. And I think there'd be a nice little fit on SmackDown, to be honest with you.
To counter Damage Control, absolutely. Just that female faction, they put a lot of work into Mandy Rose, and she is exceeded my expectations. I know I'm nobody, but like she went from being like one of the shittiest female wrestlers on the roster to being one of the better ones, and having toxic attraction with them. That's gonna be with her. That's gonna be solid on Friday nights. I think Miko does win as well. I think Blair Davenport's there to eat the pin, but I think that Davenport is going to be the one she feuds with going forward. They got to get Toxic Attraction, even though they're probably one of the only main attractions on NXT 2.0 right now. You got to kind of get them up and rolling because Gigi is wasting away on Tuesday nights, and I want to see her on SmackDown.
And y'all pick the same person. I'm going Blair Davenport actually. I when she annihilated Indy, like Indy literally stood no chance against her. I was like, yo, she is here to stay. Main event.
Shout out to Dexter Loomis being back, my dude.
Yes, love him. I think it is like you have Mandy Rose saying she's the most dominant, and then you have Miko saying, she's the monster, she's the final boss. I think Blair Davenport is going to establish herself as the first unified women's champion. Just saying. I don't know who she pins, who she taps out. I don't care if she wins.
No, that one will be interesting. She did have her interaction with Rhea Ripley. Make history. I did love that whole pitch of all those old champions coming back. Like, don't fuck this up. Like, hold it down for the OG, NXT. Hold it down for 2.0. Hold it down for UK. So that was really, really cool as we reach the main event of this pay-per-view. NXT 2.0 champion Braun Breaker takes on NXT UK champion, the big strong boy Tyler Bates, in what's going to be an absolutely outstanding match that will not end correctly. Spoiler alert, JD McDonough's ass is getting involved in this somehow, some which way, in my opinion. Although I think it would be the wrong decision. I think if they're going to unify these belts and go along that way, it should be a very clean and thought-out process. Braun Breaker is going to win this. He is just the thing in 2.0. There's no question about it. He is the guy in 2.0. He's still rather raw when it comes to his promo skills. We've said it multiple times on the show. You can see the Steiner in him. It sticks out.
Hilarious.
Let him go wild.
It sticks out very much so. But he's come such a long way from, coming out and screaming, war games a few months back, or slipping and falling Halloween Havoc last year against Champ. Like, he's come such a long way from where he was. He will be due for a main roster run, but I think sort of being NXT's undisputed unified champion is essentially inevitable, although our big strong boy Tyler Bates will have a nice run down at NXT before his call up is said and done.
I gotta disagree with you, man. JD McDonough gets involved, costs Braun Breaker the championship, and sets up JD and Tyler Bates for a long program as champion. You got to get Braun up there, man. I know that he's rather raw on the mic, like you said, but he's got to get up on the main roster. Get him on Raw. Let him start fighting for the United States title soon. Just get him up there. He's there's no point. They're obviously going in a different direction, bringing all these people over. And even though he is the guy, it's time. We've been talking about this for almost a year now. It's time.
That's why Tyler Bates going to beat him clean.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be clean. I don't think
Tyler
it's going to be clean.
Bates pinning that man in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Tyler Bates is your new NXT Unified Heavyweight Champion, and then he's going to go on to Roman Reigns. He's going to take those titles too. Nah, he is going to beat Braun. I do believe Tyler Bate will be the champion, and I just got the British people running the show. I got him winning everywhere, left and right, because screw it.
That's fair enough.
A true invasion angle.
Yes,
NXT UK absolutely overtakes.
They said we weren't watched by America. They don't know us. We're about to show them what we are. Yes,
absolutely. I cannot wait. Obviously, there's talks of there will be new belts for NXT Europe. Maybe these NXT belts will be redone. Who knows? Don't know if the NXT 2.0 name will stick around, or we're just going to transition back to just NXT. It is going to be interesting.
NXT Worldwide.
I don't know. I like that one.
Let the shit talking commence.
Yeah.
Not in love with that one.
Yo.
At all.
Y'all are lame.
No way. It's definitely going to be an interesting
what's
one.
happening in AEW?
Losers. As we go to AEW, we start with 0 Hour. As I mentioned before, another match that's going to have a very hard-hitting encounter. We have Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston, because Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara will not be having sort of that big in-ring match. Sort of it has been said they squashed beef backstage, but Tony Khan does not plan to have that sort of be finished, I guess, so to speak. I don't really know where they're going with that. It does look like they're going to be in separate corners here. I believe Ishii's just here to eat another pin, considering that's all he does in AEW.
Give me Bone Soldier, baby.
Eddie Kingston wins this one here, in my opinion.
He's awful.
I agree.
He just
I'm going to leave it at that. Ishii cool, but it's AEW. Kingston's part of AEW.
He doesn't need to be. That's just, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to be disgusted for most of this last segment. So
bring Eddie Kingston to WWE. Let's see what he can do.
No way.
Other than kill catering, nothing.
Hey, don't disrespect.
I love all of his. I love the way he sort of tries to be as raw and break the fourth wall and be sort of as authentic as possible.
It's forced.
You feel like that? That's the way you feel about
forced.
Eddie? You think it's forced? Oh, poor Eddie. I absolutely love the man. I love his promos and everything. It is going to be interesting. But the whole Jericho Appreciation Society versus Eddie and Blackpool Combat Club, it needs to come to a damn end at some point. And I've sort of been complaining about
Eddie's conclusion. Combat Club kind of just got involved on Eddie's behalf,
It's not over yet. I have told you this. They are tied 2-2. I think that final fifth match will happen at some point, potentially at Full Gear, and we'll see how it goes. We do have another sort of potential quick match. FTW champion Hook takes on Cool Hands Angelo something. I can't even think of his last name.
Hook 2.0. Hook. I agree.
Hook. I just know Daddy Magic Matt Menard because his fucking head is just ridiculous. But I will give this is Hook. The FTW Championship is obviously in a
It'll
weird
be a good match.
There's a reason this is here on 0 Hour, sadly. We'll see how it goes. Another match, and the last match on 0 Hour, at least as of right now. Rampage is live later tonight. Tony Khan has teased potential more match announcements and so on and so forth. We'll see how that goes.
Yay.
But we do have the Bastard Pack, the All-Atlantic Champion versus Kip Sabian in a match that has sort of been brewing on and off TV for quite a little while. Kip Sabian is finally back on our screens as he attacks Pac in their trios match against Aussie Open. I agree. I go with Pac on this one. At least the All-Atlantic Champion is back to be defended in AEW after sort of a bit of a world tour of championship defense. I'm all for it. 0 Hour has been rather meh. Mamba, are we going 3 for 3
Neville. I mean,
on
Pac,
the Bastard Pac, as he calls the man Neville. Hilarious.
Losing effort for Kip. Sorry. Glad you're back, though.
Absolutely. I hear it. As we dive more deeper into the AEW, because it is the most loaded up with all the matches because they have 5-hour pay-per-views. Whether you love it or hate it, that's just how it is.
Hate it.
As we continue onward, TBS champion Jade Cargill takes on Athena
You can stop
Finally.
there. It's
Yeah,
okay.
just stop there. Cardio.
Finally.
Right. I like how we mentioned it last week, and then on that rampage, are like, all right, we're gonna do it. We've been rumoring it for like the past 7
In Mamba's
months.
words,
But
when is Athena gonna be fed to Jade? It's literally
yes,
Mamba's
like,
words.
Tomorrow. Or
yes, or
Sunday. Or
Sunday.
whatever.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely agree. I don't know. I'm still convinced that this was going to be the Chris Statlander movement. I feel like she was set to be the one, and then her injury sort of derailed
Beat
it.
her. I agree.
I think that was just the way it should have went for her and Jade. I think the story of versus the baddies with Red Velvet was just a perfect beginning of it all, and it sort of fizzled out into nothing. Obviously, she gets injured. They had Anna Jay there sort of as like the third person, and she sort of came and went, and then they added Willow, and there's all kinds of things.
Came and went.
The AEW women's division is in flux right now. Tony Khan also said some words about that did not make Twitter very happy. Pissed off a lot of people with the shit that he was saying.
When doesn't he? When doesn't he piss
But it looks like it
off?
is an overwhelming 3 for 3 for Jade. Continues this
Yes.
run. I am waiting to see where it sort of ends all for her as Stokely Hathaway continues to rack up the.
This man is putting together his own AEW roster, bro.
It is, I shit you not, it is the counterpart to Maximum Male Models, and I've officially dubbed them Stokely's Stunning Stallions. That's what I'm going to call them going forward.
All right.
That is what I'm calling them going forward. I shit you not. As we continue,
goodness.
AEW Interim Women's Championship match comes down to a fatal 4-way. Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, and Hikaru Shida will do battle for the women's championship as Thunder Rosa's injury has derailed
My
her
internet
from
can't handle this, bro.
this pay-per-view. I hear it, my guy. We're trying to get through this now so we make sure you can get here through the end. It was already rumored that Toni Storm was supposed to beat Thunder Rosa here. Anyways, I think she will be crowned AEW's champion here. I told Mamba this after everything that was happening. Tony Khan sort of sending out to Nick and Stephanie, stop tampering with my fucking talent. This is just a way where Tony Khan is just going to say, hey, the grass is a bit greener here, and slipping a title on a former WWE talent.
Tony.
That's been me for weeks.
Although you going Tony? I thought you were about to
Tony.
say something to Tony Khan, to be honest.
No. Tony Storm.
I'm going full bias here, and I'm picking Shida.
You have been on the Shida bandwagon
since the beginning. When I went to AEW,
I'm trying to keep the answer short and sweet.
Shida, bro.
Mama keeps cutting out. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. I know he's going through a little bit.
Oh no, it's okay. You want to say something? Go for it.
No, I'm cool, bro.
Y'all just start like buffering, and then it's like network connection not stable. So I just gotta leave and come back. Yeah.
I do think the Jamie Hayter Britt Baker storyline feud
maybe starts here.
I think it continues here, although we had, we had sort of things going back a couple months back. I think it shall continue here in a rather interesting fashion. As we move on, we have the pussy Christian Cage versus Jack Perry, not Jungle Boy, as Jungle Boy says he's going to be facing Jack Perry. I think this is just Jungle Boy's way of further elevating himself up.
Getting out of that Jungle Boy name.
Exactly. I'm going to give it a Jungle Boy here as this big blow-off feud. Christian honestly has no business wrestling anymore in the 2020s.
Yo, don't disrespect Christian.
Come on. He's not quite as good.
That man is a living legend, okay? You heard his words.
The peeps, looking for the peeps. I get it, but he is just
Christian
so
Cage is going to win.
Out of no way.
He doesn't think he's a pussy.
I think he's going to win.
Cheating? Clean?
Expect the unexpected. It's probably going to be wonky, but he'll win.
Is Luchasaurus going to turn again?
Oh God! Please
don't. Please God. Just make that stop.
Jack Perry, he probably will win, but it could add to like you lost as Perry. You lost as yourself to Christian. So it's gonna make him like want to dig deeper, find a new level, maybe. Who knows? But give me Jungle Boy.
Agreed, agreed. As we move on, we have another imploding team, Absolute Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobb. I watched this heel turn live, as it did happen at the AEW show that I went to. Was rather interesting to see. It was rather interesting to see. I'm going against the consensus here because Ricky Starks is absolutely loved, and I do love him. He's one of my favorite guys in AEW. But I believe this is where the build the babyface sympathy continues to go, and you have to have Hobbs look legitimately strong and look good. If well, as Team Taz has imploded, Taz said himself that shit's all done and over with. So I'm gonna give the dub here to Hobbs, as they have to start building him up as something before it's all said and done and he ends up leaving at some point, because the I don't know where he's gonna fit as a singles competitor unless you're just trying to do Wardlow all over again, because that is basically the same thing. I look and it's just the same exact wrestler. To be quite honest, I'm going with Hobbs on this one, getting the big heel win. Oh, he said Hobbs already.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't even
Oh,
hear
yeah.
that.
I said, yeah. Yeah, I said Hobbs.
I'm gonna go Ricky Starks wins by DQ, right?
Okay.
Hobbs is gonna continue just beating the hell out of him. It's gonna be a count, Maybe Taz runs down to be like, "Yo, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, he's had enough. Stop, go." And I think Taz gets hit, and then it adds to Ricky Starks eventually getting the win over Hobbs, a true win over him.
A true win. I agree. Potentially looking at Full Gear, considering it is our next pay-per-view. We have up next on the list the Casino Ladder Match. ROH champion Claudio Castagnoli, ROH Pure champion Wheeler Yuta, Lucha Bros, Pentagon and Phoenix, La Faccion's very own Andrade, Roosh, and then finally we have Dante Martin as the lone singles competitor.
Poor guy.
I didn't understand why they did 3 tag teams. Nonetheless, we do have a Joker. So I'll start there. Any thoughts on who the Joker in this ladder match might be, Matt?
MJF, and he's gonna win
To get the future championship match.
And
Okay.
he's gonna cash in Sunday night.
Oh,
I'm all for that. Yes, I'm sorry
You-
if I just
you want-
destroyed people's ears, bro.
If you want nuclear heat, yes.
Yes, all for it. As much as I would love MJF,
It's gonna happen on Punk.
probably. I would love for it to be MJF. I don't know where I'm at with it. I don't know if he's gonna be back. I don't know if he's gone yet. I would love for him to be here. I do know whoever the Joker is, the Joker's winning. Like whoever the Joker is, they're winning.
no guess on who it is. You're just gonna say he's gonna win.
If it's not MJF, I'm going to pick Adam Cole. Why not? Why not?
I love that one. I agree. I go with Adam Cole as the Joker, although I wouldn't be surprised if Sammy Guevara comes strutting down that way. This match should be interesting.
William Ospreay is still probably in the States. Just saying.
He had tweeted out he's all said and done with AEW for the foreseeable future. I don't know if you saw that too. He said he was done. He said he was pretty much done with all that. He appreciates whatever, but he was pretty much all done with AEW. We'll see. But this will be a very interesting match. I absolutely love the Lucha Bros in any sort of ladder match environment. Dante Martin will absolutely try to kill himself jumping off one of them damn ladders, and it's going to be amazing. But we'll see how it goes. Like I mentioned, it's basically 3 tag teams and basically what's going to be 2 singles guys. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, where these roles are going to... It's going to be interesting. When it was first the participants were first announced, immediately I thought the Joker would be Hangman potentially. Isn't going that way. He's competing later tonight in the trios tournament. And then I sort of thought maybe Andrade, this would be just sort of his way to get a championship match, considering we've already seen Rush try to do it. And I don't think anyone in Blackpool Combat Club is set to pretty much have a title chance anytime soon.
Unless
Considering
your name is Moxley or
yeah,
Danielson.
we'll see where that all goes. But this ladder match should absolutely be interesting as we continue onward. Our tag team match, the acclaimed Scissor Me Daddy Ass versus Swerve in Our Glory. Very interesting build. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen tonight. What they say. I'm going to be leaning towards Swerve in Our Glory for this championship win. I don't really know what the acclaimed have. I don't really know. The whole story with them has been weird. They were the ass claimed for a little while as we joked around. I don't know where this is going, but I'm going to be leaning Swerve in Our Glory.
Now, did you say who was going to win? Yeah.
Nope.
No. It's going to be Swerve in Our Glory. This is just going to be like a respectful, great match, and then maybe the ass boys come in and maybe try to jump them, but Swerve in Our Glory.
Absolutely. Here, Matt might be potentially frozen on his side. We shall. Well, there Matt goes. Disconnection error. Maybe he shall join. Maybe he shall not. We shall see what happens with Matt there. But yeah, Swerve in Our Glory is going to be very interesting. FTR. I don't know how the hell they're not involved in these title matches yet.
In a trios match, man.
Yeah, but
and they're gonna win. we can just gonna be a great match. Motor City Machine Gun
in due time. Yes, Pinnacle.
Love it.
The Pinnacle, Wardlow, and FTR will link up once again to go and do battle against
Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. It's gonna be a great match. I watched Alex Shelley and them, even Lethal, like that trio's impact, TNA, like that is where I first saw them. And seeing them team together in AEW, it's kind of cool. It's just unfortunate that they're going to get destroyed by Wardlow and FTR because they have every single title known to man.
Yes, it's a little upsetting. There won't be any TNT title matches. It doesn't look like Wardlow's title run has been rather interesting. We'll see how it goes.
You don't have to lie. It has not been shit.
We'll have to see where it goes.
His run is the same as Jade, and Jade, because she started it first, it works for her. But for Wardlow, yes, you can have dominant champions. Like, I'm not saying you can't, but when that's all they're doing, and it's like there is no story really put to it other than I'm just gonna eat you because I'm Wardlow. It's not interesting. I'm sorry.
Hey, I hear it. This match, however, should be good. I think this is. Yeah. It's a perfect sort of area for Wardlow to be in. We'll absolutely get FTR Motor City Machine Guns, which is something everybody loathes for. Yes. FTR is one of the best tag teams in the world. I absolutely am all for Sanjay Dutt and Platinum Singh sort of sitting this out. I didn't really want to watch Platinum Singh lunk around everywhere. Yes. I want to watch an actual good wrestling match. No offense to him. Gonna go with
Sanjay. Sanjay was good in TNA.
Think we're both in favor of going Pinnacle here.
Yes, I think Matt would agree too. That's a simple one.
Most likely. As we continue onward to our final three matches, we have the conclusion to our the AEW inaugural Trios Champions. We already know Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks will be there. Won their Dynamite's final against Aussie Open and Will Ospreay. And now we wait for the Dark Order-led Hangman Page and company versus Best Friends for tonight's final. I do appreciate that it is going to be a live Rampage, sort of not have any spoilers, so to speak. But I said this, I think last week off air. The moment is there to have the Omega Hangman storyline essentially be, brought back, not necessarily brought back to life, but sort of have that nostalgia moment, having the Bucks, being rejected by Hangman. Then he's in the tournament and he's on the opposite side. And at the end of all this, I predicted it before. I think it's going to happen anyways. There will be a handshake at the end. I think Hangman, Kenny, Young Bucks, all that will be a sort of mutual respect type of thing. And I'm going with the curveball here. Dark Order, Hangman Page,
Yeah.
and Argo Shields champions.
I do agree with you. If it is Dark Order versus the Elite, Dark Order deserves those titles more. Like, you know, the Young Bucks, 2-time I almost said Impact champions, right? AEW champions. Omega, he's been at the top. Dark Order, they've been around since the beginning, and you know they've been a staple. They just haven't been giving anything of meaning. Once Brody was no longer a TNT champion, Hangman, he got his title, and he was like, "Okay, guys, I'm done hanging out with y'all. You know, I'm gonna go over here." Didn't work out too well for you, did it, Paige? Huh? I'm still on board with the best friends winning, though.
Yes,
I
you
really want
have
to see
been
the best
team
friends win.
Uh-huh.
With the handshake, though, do we see an attempted handshake in the beginning? Like, Paige and Omega start out, Paige being the guy everyone loves. He walks up, tries to shake his hand, like extends his hand, and then Omega just doesn't, or maybe he does. But I do agree there will be respect shown between both teams, whether it's in the beginning or at the end.
Maybe. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. Now with all the Bobby Fish stuff going around, my conclusion doesn't feel as good. My prediction was Undisputed Era just comes in and annihilates everyone else, so we can further advance that storyline. Bobby Fish no longer being with the company, and most likely not pulling up this Sunday, sort of puts a damper on that. Maybe a sign of respect to start the match, maybe, but we both agree that this will be
not the Elite winning.
Yes, neither one of us have the Elite winning, which is actually very surprising. And I'm literally sitting here in a Young Bucks t-shirt, so it's kind of fun. But I think this is just a Hangman moment. Dark Order hasn't been around.
Yes.
And nearly as prominent. Obviously, with what happened with Uno and 10, I don't know if they're going to have a storyline with La Facción going forward. That's all going to be really weird and interesting to see.
Could be the first trios feud they do. Yeah.
Well, they're short a guy over there in La Facción because they kicked Dragon Lee the fuck out. So I don't know who they're going to get.
Maybe he shouldn't have lost.
So, but you got Best Friends coming out tonight. We shall see where that goes as we continue onward. More Blackpool Combat Club versus JSA as we continue going forward. Lionheart, Chris Jericho versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson in the big. I don't know how great the match is gonna be or how the ending is gonna look.
Right.
There's no question. There's no doubt in my mind how good Danielson is. Was blessed to watch him and Daniel Garcia live. Jericho has just reached his. Yeah. You're almost there in terms of in ring.
Yes.
We've obviously seen all the pictures from when he won AEW championship, the first AEW championship. We saw what his body looked like before. He has absolutely retooled his body. There's no doubt that Jericho is absolutely an amazing mind.
Dedicated.
He's an absolute outstanding mind. Great on the mic. He'll sell the hell out of anything. Says all the right things. Says all the wrong things. Just absolutely amazing character work out of Chris Jericho, and he's always had it. But at this point, this probably would have been a bang, one of the match of the year candidates, years ago, when they were both truly in their prime. It's just such a long ways away, and I'm gonna give this.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this win to Danielson, considering he did get choked out already by Jericho in the Anarchy in the Arena and all that shenanigans stuff happened.
Yes.
I'm leaning towards Danielson getting the dub on this one.
I could totally see it. You said you were a little murky with the ending. I think the ending is the winner is whoever Daniel Garcia helps.
Custody of Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, whoever Daniel Garcia helps is going to win. And because of that, Jericho is winning. He's going to truly realign and show, yes, I may have wavered because he was my hero, but I understand never meet your heroes. Dude's a dick. Kill him pretty much, like something like that. And
Garcia will deliver the chair shot.
Yes. He will. Maybe they jump him after, but Daniel Garcia will be a part of Jericho Appreciation and not Combat Club. And it would make sense because everything Daniel Garcia has done, it's helped Bryanson, right? Granted, after the loss, but everything he's done stopped Jericho from the chair, stopped this and that to help him. It makes a little more sense to me if he's like, yeah, you thought I was helping you, Swerve, Yeah.
I hear. I do. It's definitely going to be interesting. Like I said, the finish is what's going to be most in question, sort of where
Yes.
Daniel Garcia lies. Although he is facing Wheeler Yuta for the ROH title in Buffalo next
Again,
Wednesday.
gotta love it.
Going to be interesting. Watch that ROH match live at Death Before Dishonor. All for watching it again. And then we are here at our main event. Very controversial build. Very controversial circumstances. CM Punk versus AEW undisputed world champion Jon Moxley, as Moxley squashed CM Punk.
It was 5 minutes, right?
Something like that. The whole thing with intros and all included, I think, was like 8 minutes and 30 something seconds on their YouTube channel. This one, as soon as that Wednesday match ended, I messaged. I was like, "There's a reason that happened." CM Punk wins in Chicago on Sunday. There's no way he agreed to get buried to then lose again. He's never lost back-to-back matches. I truly don't think it's gonna happen. Moxley's won every title defense since he's been put the strap on him. He got the mixed reactions in Chicago for a reason. Cleveland did not fall in love with CM Punk when he was there. This screams CM Punk winning in Chicago. Screams it.
And that's a wrong motherfucking choice.
I'm
sorry. Even my water heater doesn't agree with it, bro. You hear it yelling? Nah. Punk, he probably is going to win. Punk is probably going to win because, of course, Punk always wins, right? Like, that's his thing. He always has to win. He has to be the one at the top. That's what I'm getting from every promo we've seen on the internet, everyone, but why cheapen your main event by just having it be, he won here because after Punk wins, it is going to be Moxley won in Ohio because he's from Ohio, and Punk won in Chicago because he's from Chicago. I don't give a fuck that they're from that place. If that man's foot, which I almost texted you as soon as he was like, yeah, my foot's hurt a little bit more. I was literally about to send you, I told you so. And then that dude comes walking down. Guess what?
Out.
You got fined for a reason. You didn't have to do it. Nah, bro. I am here because either I'm happy that Moxley won or I'm livid that Punk wins, right? Like, this is why I watch this. I want to see who wins, whether I'm happy who won or hate who won. I just do not like the idea of cheapening your main event, getting the cheap pop. Well, they are over with the crowd, but putting it where it's home state, home city, it just feels cheap to me. It really does. And I'm going to say Punk wins this match, and the YouTube video is 8 minutes and 29 seconds because he did it quicker than Moxley.
No way. CM Punk's going to sadly win this. And it's sus. I've literally been on the show and said CM Punk is literally one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Absolutely love CM Punk. But the biggest mistake that they did was put the belt on him at Double or Nothing over Hangman, when Hangman should have gotten that dub as sort of the first actual legitimate big title defense, and not defending against Lance Archer, and I can't even remember. It's like his run was
story to get there. First AEW championship, right, against Chris Jericho, doesn't win. And then he beats a former best friend of his, for the title, and then it's lackluster. He turns on the people who were by his side. Well, he doesn't turn on them, but he turns them away. And the Dark Order was there by his side the entire time, right? And then he was like, no, I'm going to do this by myself.
Yep.
And then he goes on Lance Archer. I can't even remember who else he defended. I couldn't even remember that he defended against Lance Archer, to be honest. Lackluster run.
Well, his two matches with Daniel, with
Danielson Bryan Danielson. Yeah, I forgot about that.
They had the 1 hour tie at Winter is Coming, and then the second one.
Forgot about his run.
Well,
Like,
because it's just been it was
yes,
it was a
yep,
lackluster run, and CM
yes.
Punk should have been the guy he should have beat Punk to further elevate
Punk
where
was like
he was going with
undefeated
that.
at that point, right? Maybe one
I
loss, if that. Like,
He did have a loss because Wardlow cost him
yeah, okay, yeah,
the
yep,
MJF pinned him, popped him with a diamond ring.
yeah.
Um,
But I hope Moxley wins. It is probably gonna be Punk though.
it
And you know what? I hope what Matt
it's so
said
weird.
is true. MJF or whoever wins that Joker spot, they literally treat it as Money in the Bank and they cash in that night, bro. I do not want to see Punk leave Chicago with that title.
If that's the way they go, and it's Punk wins, and then we hear MJF's music hit after winning the casino ladder match, and he's like, "All right, it's time." He wins the AEW championship in Chicago off of CM Punk.
I want him to leave
That
through the crowd.
that place is gonna go fucking bananas. That place will go absolute ape shit if that ends up being the
Agreed.
case. But that's gonna do it for us. 95 minutes of Wrestle Talk as
And we
we wrap
tried.
up
We tried
as
to
many
short.
as we can. Shout out to Matt who was here. So we had some technical difficulties. Matt wasn't able to finish the show because of a power outage. Mambo is in and out of the stream. So there is quite a lot going on with this. Appreciate everyone
But
that
you love
stopped
us.
by. We will be here next Friday with the conclusion to all the madness that is about to happen this weekend. A lot of wrestling is about to go down. Can't wait to see what the hell is going to happen. And then Wednesday, jumping straight into NFL conversations as we're going to be doing our over-unders.
We're almost there, people.
Our over-unders for the NFC and AFC. One big old video also going to happen on Wednesday because Thursday night football, Rams, Bills is going to be amazing as the NFL season kicks off Wednesday. Be here next Friday. Be here, Mamba. Let the folks know what they got to do.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, notifications, turn the bell on, ring it. That's what they say. Ring the bell.
Absolutely. Peace. Everybody have a wonderful Friday and enjoy the Super Kick Party.